guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me today as always. Today I'm excited because we're going to talk about arcs, and I know I recently did a video about arcs not that long ago. I will link it below and also put it on the screen if you'd like to watch that and kind of learn about arcs and how to get them and all that fun stuff. But today's video is going to be about reading arcs. So I have had a lot of arcs stacking up lately. I've been kind of all year working on building my ARC profile and my reading profile of just reading and receiving and reading more arcs. So I think due to that, I have been getting approved for more arcs. So a lot of the time I would apply for like 6 or 7 arcs and I would maybe get 1 or 2 of them. But now if I'm applying for 6 or 7 arcs, I'm getting maybe 5 of them. So I'm getting a lot more and I am starting to get a little bit overwhelmed, but also like I know I'm putting this pressure on myself to read them kind of quickly. Whenever I get an arc, it always goes to the top of my priority list and I try to read it as quickly as possible so that I can get my feedback to the author as quickly as possible. But pretty much arcs give you a certain amount of time to read them. Like you need to read them before the book releases. I grabbed my book journal because that is where I mostly keep track of all my arcs. I also have like my online accounts and my email and everything, but it's a lot easier for me to actually, what I do is print out the picture of the book and then I'll put a date above it so that I know when the release date is and when I really need to have it read by and that sort of thing. So I have 11 total arcs. So we are going to try to read half of that on this video. So we're going to try to read, let's say we'll go with 5, we'll round down. So let's read 5 arcs in this video. So I'm going to pick 5 of them to actually read that are my kind of like higher priority ones because they have to be read sooner than anything else. So the first one that needs to be on that list is A Mermaid Tale of the Lost Empire. And that has to be read absolutely first out of any of the other ones. And then we'll pick out of these which ones I can choose. The one that I think I was most excited about was Bless Your Heart. So I'm going to pick that as my second one. So let's go with Finlay, Donovan Rolls the Dice. That's the third one. The fourth one, I think I'm going to pick The Royal Game. And then the fifth one, Let's Choose All Roads Lead Here. Okay, so that's 5. We've got our 5 choices and I put them on the screen for you to see them. I just wanted to share them with you. I wanted to get the arcs out there so that I could talk about them, and I wanted to have like their own little video of me actually reading them because I'm always reading other books and videos and I thought it would be really fun to actually read arcs instead. So I'm going to be reading the arcs on my husband's iPad. So I don't actually have a Kindle yet, but I need to get one. But for now, I read on the iPad. So I'll be reading on there, and then I will check in with you for each one. We'll give it a rating, and we'll talk about it, and let's hype these books. If you are watching this video, make sure that you hype each and every one of these books for me and go out and read them when they come out because I am so thankful to have gotten all of these arcs. And I think if you guys like this video, I'll probably do some more of these where I read arcs and talk about them so that you can hear about them just like everyone on Instagram does, because most of the time my hype for the books are on Instagram more so than on YouTube. So I would like to also kind of bring that over to YouTube. So that's kind of the point of this video. So let's go ahead and get started on our first book, the Mermaid book that was on the screen. I'll put it back up for you. And yeah, let's go get started. I'm excited. I've just completed reading the Mermaid Tale book. I would rate it 3 stars, and I feel like that's being generous. I almost feel like I want to rate it 2 stars, but because it's an arc, like I just really don't want to. And also because I could really see where the author was going with it, but I feel like I am too old of an audience and too of an experienced reader to have really enjoyed it. I feel like this book would have been really good for a younger teen, so not even young adult. Like I feel like age group between 12 and maybe 15. But for me personally, it just didn't hit the mark. So we started off extremely strong with this book actually, and I had looked and saw that it was getting a lot of kind of negative reviews, and I was like, oh wow, I don't understand how people like are feeling negatively about this, because the beginning I really did like, and I thought it was a really cute and different take on a Little Mermaid. Yeah, it was similar, of course, because you are like trying to rethink the Little Mermaid story, but it wasn't so similar that it like annoyed me. It was actually had its own spin and had its own ideas, and there was a lot of differences in there that I actually really did enjoy. So the first half of the book, like the first maybe 100 pages, I really, really enjoyed actually. And it probably would have been a 4-star if it would have continued along the same lines. But through the second half of the book, I just feel like we kind of fell off the wagon a little bit. I feel like it was just repetitive. We were just kind of stuck in the same place for such a long time, and nothing really exciting was happening. And then the pieces that were exciting, that were supposed to be exciting, just like didn't really do it for me. That's all I want to say about that one. I hate having to say negative things about books, especially arcs. It like hurts my soul. And I do apologize if the author ever sees this, or anyone that knows the author. Like, I'm not hating on the author at all. It is so hard to write a book, and I cannot imagine the time, energy, and just every little thing that goes into writing a book is insane. And I am so grateful to all authors in the whole world because I love reading and I love finding great books. So no hate, but let's move on to our next book. Yeah, Bloody Heart by Sophie Lark. I can't remember if I put this in the drawing or not, but if not, we're replacing a book with this one. So Bloody Heart is going to be our next read, and I know this is part of a series, but I did look into it before I requested the ARC, and it said it can be read as a standalone book. So I am going to read it as a standalone book because I really liked what it was about, and I am excited to read it. So let's go read this one, and I'll come back and tell you what I think. I just got finished reading Bloody Heart, and it was really good. It was so surprisingly good. I'm really glad that I was accepted to read it because I really, really enjoyed it. I rated it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I'm so surprised, and I feel like I maybe would have enjoyed it even more had I read the rest of the series. But it was a great standalone book for sure. I would definitely suggest it if you are trying to get into the series. Like, maybe start with it and then reread the rest of it. My plan is now to like start with book 1 and like read through them, because they also tie in characters from all those series into this one. It was just so different than what I would normally read. So it was a bit of a spicy romance with a lot of action, a lot of mystery, a lot going on, a lot of drama. So I usually read thrillers. I usually stay away from spice and stay away from romances ish. I don't mind a good romance, but like it's not my go-to. But this sounded so good reading the little blurb that I read, and I was just so excited getting into it. So the writing style is amazing. Like, it just flows seamlessly and quickly. It is a very fast-paced read. I got through this in, I don't know, maybe a week or so, not even, probably like 5 days. And I was reading an e-file, and I don't love reading an e-file. So for me to get through an e-file in 5 days says a lot about me. I love reading me a good like physical copy. I can't beat it. I was excited, on the edge of my seat, like wanting to figure out what was going to happen. Disappointed, sad, happy, like everything all in one. Simone's our main character, and Dante, they are the love interests, and they fall like madly in love, and she's 18. I think he's like either 20 or 21, and they're just like head over heels for each other. Her family, she's from like a very like wealthy family who's like I don't want to say noble, but they're like into politics, and they're just high up in the politic ladder, I guess. And so they've got a lot of eyes on them, and her parents expect a lot from her. And he is part of like the mafia and like gang activity kind of, and just like not the type of like he's just the opposite of the type of person her parents would want her to be with, and she knows that. And she feels a lot of pressure, but she does go and try to introduce him to her family, and that doesn't really go that well and they don't want her to be with him. She desperately wants to be with him. Something happens and they get separated for 9 years. I think it was 9, maybe 10 years. And then they they see each other again for the first time after 9 years, and it's wild. And we kind of go from there, and there's a lot going on. Like, people are getting like shot at. There's like a murder investigation. There's all kinds of things happening. Lives are on the line. And we also have this romance like happening in the middle of all of this, that at first it was a romance and now it's just like not, and we're kind of trying to feel our way through. So I feel like almost like multiple like storylines are happening, but it's not really. Like, it's just there's a lot of things happening all at once. And I think that's what really kept my interest throughout this whole book. Was the author did a really good job of just keeping you excited and keeping you interested in what was going to happen next. And let's go ahead and get on to our next book. So without further ado, let's go get to reading Royal Games. I think that's what it's called. I just finished The Royal Game. Hopefully you can see this. I'm not really sure, but the cover is gorgeous. That was one of the reasons I wanted to make sure you could see it. And this is my new Kindle, but I'm still feeling very fancy. And all my stickers on the back. So I rated this one 4 stars. I really liked this one. It was very surprising, actually. I went into this thinking it was going to be like a cutesy little romance, and that was pretty much going to be it. But then I got mystery and puzzles and like death threats and kind of thriller vibes without quite being a thriller. And it actually shocked me what ended up happening. The main character is also a pop star who is engaged to a prince, and she's kind of giving up her old pop star lifestyle to become a princess and marry her true love, who is the prince. And she's getting death threats, and she's getting like all her dirty laundry aired out, and the press and paparazzi are like hounding her, and they are trying to come up with any little bits of dirt that they can on her. And it is kind of wild, and that is exactly what really happens to the real royal family. So I think it was really spot on when it came to that. Oh yeah, and also she had to learn how to become a princess and act like a princess, and so she was kind of getting princess lessons all throughout. And then we also had a mystery about the prince's mom, who is passed away when he was a child. Was it an accident? Was it on purpose? Like, what really happened? There's a lot of mystery to it, and they're like trying to figure that out at the same time. So like all of that together made a really fantastic book, and I am blown away by this. Let me check out which book is going to be next. So this is pretty much the cover that I have since it's an art, but I'll pop a picture of it up on the screen for you. It's Finlay Donovan Rolls the Dice. This is the 4th Finlay Donovan book, and I am so honored and excited to have it as an ARC and be able to be an ARC reader for it. So this is one of the ones I was really looking forward to reading and reviewing on camera for you. So let's go get into this, and I'll come back and give you my final thoughts on it. I just finished reading Finlay Donovan Rolls the Dice. It was so good. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I ended up rating this 4 stars and I really liked it. It definitely had the same feel that the first two books had, and it was just so fun to be with the characters again. There was adventure, there was drama, there was murder, there was just craziness. They end up going to a casino in Atlantic City and staying in a hotel there, and that is where everything is unfolding this time. So we are not in their suburban little neighborhood anymore. The author's taking us to new and different places, and I really enjoyed that. I think it was the perfect setting for this book, and it made it just more interesting. It made the stakes a little bit higher. It made the drama a little bit more dramatic, because they have to work around like staff and hotel people, and the police end up there. So there's a lot. Finley's ex-husband ends up there. Her mom ends up there. Vero is there again, if you know anything about the series. And it's just, there's so much going on there. It was so fast paced. I was on the edge of my seat. I was flipping pages very quickly. It did not take me very long to read this book. It took me maybe like 5 days total, and I really enjoyed it. So this is my final review for this whole thing. I have to talk to you about Bless Your Heart. I just finished it and I was pleasantly surprised, but also didn't like all the horror that we got. So let me break this down for you. I rated it 4 stars. And I did that because the writing style was amazing. The storyline was amazing. The thought process that went behind the whole plot and what was actually happening in the book was so, so good. And I thought it was just very imaginative and very different. So basically, we're in this town that is being overrun by the undead, and they are vampires, but like also kind of mixed with zombies. Um, and I'm not sure how to say it, but I think they're like called Strigoi, something like that. It's Strigoi is the word. So I want to say Strigoi. Strajoji? I don't know, something like that. And I thought this was a very different take on vampires. And granted, yes, it's mixed with like zombies, kind of, but I just thought the thought process that went behind this, I have never heard anything like it before, and it really grabbed my interest. And I wanted to know what was going to happen the entire time I was reading, and I couldn't really put the book down, to be honest with you. I was bringing it with me everywhere. Thank goodness it was on my Kindle because I was just bringing it everywhere. So really enjoyed it, but the horror aspects, everything was thoroughly described. So the vampire zombie people like eat other people and like tear them apart and stuff like that. So that got very vivid, and it was a bit much for me, to be honest with you. I was skipping the very gory parts because I just didn't want that in my mind. The family that she had 4 generations of women all together, and it was just one woman from each generation. And I loved their bonds. I loved that they were just all really strong-willed and just kind of like so like bad but good, and they were just fighting these zombie vampires all together, and it was really actually fun and entertaining to watch, and I was totally rooting for them the whole time. And then we also have like a mix of other characters, and you're also trying to find out like who is the head vampire the whole time, because they can pretty much be in disguise, and they can look just like a person. So you have to really be analyzing all the characters and trying to figure out who this is, because at the end, like, you're obviously gonna find out. But I really enjoyed that too. And I had suspicions. I had suspicions for a while who it was, and then I had changed my thought of who it was, and I ended up being right, but I only changed it like at the last minute before it got revealed, kind of. So that's all I'm going to say about this one because I know that this video has gone on for a long time. I'm going to put all the arcs up on the screen again for you so you can see them all. I absolutely loved doing this video. I loved all the arcs that I read on this video, and I got some really solid reads from this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know a couple of them don't come out until April, but they will all be out soon. So make sure you add them to your TBR and look out for them. And also, if you liked today's video, please let me know because I will make some more videos like this so that you can check out all the cool arcs that I'm reading. Leave me a comment, subscribe, like the video, all that stuff. Also, if you want to see more content from me, I am posting all the time on my Instagram. And right now, there's actually a giveaway going on over there until mid-February. So make sure you go take part in that if you're interested. I'm giving away the whole Shatter Me series. So go check that out. And then also I post here a weekly video every single Friday, and I would love to see you back here for that. And that's really all I have to say. And I'll see you on a new video soon. Bye.